You finally did it. You called the cable company, sat on hold for 20 minutes, and canceled that $150 a month subscription. But when you pull the plug and turn on your older TV, you aren't greeted with a crystal clear picture. You just get static. The problem is a hardware mismatch. Local networks now broadcast their signals in a digital format. If your television is more than a decade old, its built-in analog tuner lacks the technology to decode that modern signal. To revive that screen and pull in free, high-definition local channels, you need a hardware bridge. That's the primary role of the digital converter box, a device that typically costs under $50. This chart maps out your cord-cutting options based on cost and effort. You'll see the standard TV antenna here, but right next to it is the sub-$50 converter box. These boxes are marketed with the promise of free TV and DVR forever, which naturally triggers skepticism about the reliability of cheap electronics. Evaluating these boxes requires looking past the shiny packaging to understand the specific user experience trade-offs you're agreeing to when you buy budget hardware. Successfully navigating this market comes down to a direct negotiation. You are trading daily interface convenience for significant upfront cost savings. Setting one of these up requires a few basic connections. Connect the coaxial port, output via an HDMI cable, and locate the front USB port for all your external storage needs. The box intercepts the digital signal your old TV couldn't read, translating it into a readable format. After a slow channel scan, you'll unlock dozens of free 1080p broadcasts. Just remember, maintaining that picture means optimizing your antenna placement. Then there's the hardware interaction. The remotes use basic infrared technology, requiring a strict, unobstructed line of sight from the remote to the sensor. If you want to hide the hardware, look for models that include an IR extender. This small accessory allows you to tuck the converter box completely behind your television while still maintaining control. Saving $100 a month on a cable bill involves accepting these friction points. The physical setup and daily remote use will feel less refined than a premium cable box. The USB port on the front handles the storage needs for the DVR function. By connecting a separate flash drive, usually 64 gigabytes or larger, the box records live television. The setup allows you to pause live broadcasts or use the electronic program guide to schedule recordings for later, similar to a standard cable interface. However, the software running that DVR feels dated. The menus are blocky and navigation is clunky, lacking the intuitive polish found on a modern smart TV or a streaming stick. This chart compares the financial reality. On the left is the recurring cost of a cable DVR subscription over a year. On the right is the single, one-time purchase of a USB stick. The dated software is the price of total subscription freedom. These basic converter boxes do not have Wi-Fi and do not support streaming apps like Netflix. They function strictly as offline bridges for your antenna signal. For those who prioritize a low monthly bill, the USB DVR is a highly effective tool. You are choosing to trade a sleek interface for keeping that monthly fee in your pocket. If you're outfitting a primary home theater and aren't willing to compromise on quality, you'll need to look at the ATSC 3.0 premium tier. ATSC 3.0 is the new broadcast standard, expanding 1080p high definition into 4K resolution with high dynamic range, delivered entirely over the air. This leap in signal quality comes with a higher price tag. Next-gen receivers typically cost over $150, compared to the $40 standard boxes. Availability is also a factor. ATSC 3.0 broadcasts are currently limited to specific cities, so you'll need to verify that your local stations have already made the switch before buying. A $150 hardware purchase significantly delays the point at which your cord-cutting savings actually pay for the equipment. An ATSC 3.0 receiver functions more as a long-term strategy for high-end home theaters than as a simple tool for reviving an old television. This flowchart breaks down your final decision, which depends on where the television is located. For secondary screens, like those in a bedroom, garage, or cabin, the sub-$50 box is the logical fit. It gives an older TV a second life without a major investment. If you are outfitting a main living room and want to feed a 4K OLED display the highest possible signal quality, the $150 next-gen box is a justified expense. However, for 90% of cord cutters, the $40 standard box paired with a USB drive provides the highest return on investment. It solves the core problem of getting local news and sports onto your screen instantly without the need for monthly hardware rental fees. Check the description below for links to the most reliable current models for both standard and next-gen setups. Successful cord cutting relies on matching the technology tier to your actual viewing habits and your personal tolerance for interface friction.